binder full of permits that's wrapped, outdated, or just plain Mia. If you ever held your breath at the wait station, hoping your driver has the right permit, this one is for you. So, joining me is someone who has making paper blinders obsolete, the founder of Digital Permit Book, a cloud-based platform designed to help fleets ditch the paperwork, stay compliant, and run smoother. Welcome, the Juro. Colongia. I hope I did your name correctly. How do you pronounce, by the way?
Yeah, hey, good morning. Yeah, my name is Juro Coluntria, but we just go by DJ, so
DJ, right? Yes, I
that'll be
just wanted
easier.
to introduce you correctly. So tell us, thank you so much, first of all, for joining me. And tell us, how did you go from computer engineering to logistics?
Yeah, so it just randomly happened. The computer engineering back in the like 2006, it was, not as common as now, like computer software. So I kind of had a bunch of friends that are truck drivers, and so they got me into trucking, and so I started trucking back in 2006
Yeah.
for FedEx Ground, and then I worked for a few big carriers like Schneider, and then
Oh,
eventually
nice.
owned the trucking company for over 10 years.
Nice. So your first job in the industry was being over the road truck driver? Am I right?
Yeah, the first job was over the road. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Do you still have your CDL?
yeah, I still have it.
Nice. I also have mine. I still keeping it, just in case, to travel. Sometimes maybe when I retire, you never know, right?
Yeah, you never know if you're gonna
Yes.
need it. It's just one of those things you don't want to let go, right? You just have it on
Yes.
your license. It's kind of cool.
Exactly. Every 2 years you go and you do your medical exam just to keep it, right?
Yeah, and they ask you a bunch of questions like, "How is it on the road?" I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't been there for like 12 years."
Yep, yep. Mine is I just keep it because sometimes when I get traffic ticket, it is very helpful because when they see it is a CDS, they forgive me. So I have been forgiven few tickets like that. So I will just keep it.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yes. So DJ, tell us, what do you think that is something people misunderstand about logistics?
About like trucking side,
Yes, maybe tracking side.
I mean it's pretty hard to do like trucking side. I would say a lot of people don't understand like the backside of it and how much work needs to go into it to make it a successful company. Um, and to make it grow, it's really hard. As you can see up there, I got one of those Inc. 5000.
Yes.
It's really hard to grow. You have to provide the best service, and finding drivers, is hard, but once you get them, you really have to work hard to be like number one, to keep the drivers and
Exactly. Yeah.
to give them the support. And I was able to kind of manage that and grow in trucking. And then there's a lot of safety and compliance that you have to keep up with, obviously. In
Yes.
trucking, that a lot of people just look at the loads and how much money are they going to make, and then they never pay attention, right, to the safety and compliance, and then all of a sudden their scores go up, and all of a sudden they're closed down, right?
Yes. How many tracks do you have now?
Right now, I still run a few like friends that are running, but that's only like about 15 trucks.
Mhm.
But when I used to do trucking full time, I was around like 50 trucks. That was my
Yeah.
number
Yes,
typically.
that's great. So, what do you think when you go back to day one in logistics? What would you do differently? I'm
Day
asking
one,
you hard
I
questions
think
today, right?
um, I mean, it just depends. What I would do differently is I would implement better. workflows, better software, and like better process to make everything flow. Because I think if you're in trucking, you do want to like grow, and you want to grow as fast as possible. You don't want to be like stuck in this like same line and like maintaining it, because all of a sudden the drivers, a bunch of drivers can quit, and now you lost half of your fleet, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think um, I would have took a better approach in growing from software side, compliance side, and automation, obviously.
Yes, yes. Well, that's why I was asking all of these questions to bring. What made you say, you know what, I'm going to fix the hot mess that
Mhm.
is permit management in the industry?
Yeah, so one day I was out on the parking lot, like the office was like 10 miles away from the lot where I dropped all the trailers, and we had a bunch of trailers on the yard. And I would go out to inspect them, and then I would replace the paperwork. And they have the little cups in the front, and you open the cup and all the paperwork is in the trailer, and then I would pull them out. They would be like wet usually, like no matter how many times you replace the little cup or whatever you do, it doesn't matter, they get wet. Or the
Yes,
drivers pull them out during an inspection and they just throw them out, throw them in the truck. They just misplace them and they're gone, right?
yes,
I'm like,
yes.
there's got to be a way. I'm like, to do this. So I looked online and looked around. I'm like, what would be a better way, right? And then I kind of built a little thing where you have a little portal, you store a bunch of trailers, all your documents, you get the little QR codes, you put them on the trailer, and you can scan it, and boom, you open the paperwork. And that's how it all started. And then from there it boomed. I'm like, but wait, what about all the other documents? Like, what about the truck documents? What about sometimes like driver contracts and things they want drivers to have on the road? And what
Mm-hmm.
about company related documents? And I'm like, well, I got to take a different approach and then bring everything together into one, right?
Yes. But DJ, DOT, do they accept these electronic versions? Because I remember you have to give them like the real paperwork.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of laws out there, and they were written back in 2019, like
Mm-hmm.
officially, where the documents can be digital.
Oh,
So, I mean, a lot of people still don't know this, or they don't know that there's like certain agreements and that are written between like all the states, and that state that like every state has to accept it in digital format.
yes. Well, that's great because I didn't know that you can show this paperwork digital, and we already have shortage of drivers, right? Why we make their lives harder, especially the weather condition, as you say, wet, rain, wind, right? Always something happens with this paperwork, and they get missed, they get like mixed, and it's easier to just go to digital.
Yeah,
So
right.
let's flip it. Tell me what life looks like after going digital. What does your system do that makes people say, wow, this is just changing my life as a fleet manager?
Right, yeah. So after they realize, how like it easy it is to manage all the permits in one platform
Mm-hmm.
and then instantly update them. So from I had customers that have like hundreds of trucks, and they would be like, well, when I have to replace the insurance, we would send it to like 300 drivers or even 800 drivers, and then they would print it out, and then or we would just bring the drivers back to the terminal. And I'm like, okay. So every time they're replacing permits, they're routing drivers like 20, 30 miles. I'm like, 20, 30 miles, I'm like, that's like 6 gallons of fuel, and that's like $25 just to replace a permit. I'm like, that's really gonna add up just to manage, your permits every time you
Yes.
gotta replace them. And so once they understand it, it's like, wow, like you just insert the permit, and like insurance or certain documents, you just replace one document, takes about 1 second, and it goes out to like hundreds of trucks, or even 1,000, doesn't matter how many trucks you have.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly all the drivers have the new permit, like after 1 second. So
Wow.
It's like, do you want to fax 1,000 drivers to 1,000 different locations? You just want to drop one document right here. So
Yes.
that's where it changes the game. It's a huge time saver.
Yes. Well, actually, that was my next question. Is it hard to implement? What if like someone has 10 truck or 1,000 trucks? So what I understood, it is just the same, right? Doesn't matter how many trucks.
Right. So yeah, it doesn't matter. We do have an AI system.
Mm-hmm.
So we do like if you have like 1,000 trucks or it doesn't matter 2,000 trucks, you would just drop like even your registrations like
Mm-hmm.
all at one time, and it would read all of them, and it would just sort them to the proper units like right
Wow.
away.
Wow. So already you implemented AI and it can do all of that work. So they don't have to like go manually and
No.
connect. Oh, nice.
Right, yeah, that's a big part, and and automating like drivers' current truck and trailer is where we really like shine. Like if you drop a hook or drivers change trucks, we automatically pull that from their ELD providers, and we automatically assign new paperwork to the drivers. That's where it really adds a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
It's just no brainer. You don't have to do anything. Just the driver opens the app and that's it.
Yes. Can you please explain one more time about the ELD? What do you bring from ELD to the digital permit book?
Right, yeah. From most providers, we keep all the drivers, trucks, and trailers updated, so they don't have to update our platform. And then all they have to do is like when drivers change trucks or trailers in the ELD platform, like they're used to on their
Yes.
log,
Uh-huh.
we automatically change it in our permit book. So when they click on our app or open
Uh-huh.
it, they automatically have a new permits for the equipment that they're operating at that time, right?
Oh, so you mean when the driver like sometimes need to change their track, right? Now they have a different ELD. Okay. You have integration, I have seen, right? With Samsara. What other ELDs you have integration with?
Right, yeah. Samsara is one of them, Platform Science, Motive,
Motive. Mhm.
Geotab, and Isaac. So those
Yes.
are the five that we are integrated with right
Well, you
now.
have the biggest ones, right? I think Samsara and Motive, I have, seen that a lot of carriers use these two platforms. That's amazing. So,
Right,
what
yeah.
would you say to a carrier or a fleet manager who is still clinging to an old school blinder? What is the cost of staying in the past?
I mean, if they look at the cost wise, it is taking a lot of time, and then the rerouting and wasting all the miles, and obviously you're wasting fuel, which there's cost to that. So
Mhm.
a typical fleet would spend over like $100, 100 maybe to 150 per year to manage permits. So it's much more efficient to go digital.
Mhm.
And plus they can control the permits that the driver has at every time. Like, usually in the binders they cannot control it. They don't even know if the driver still has a binder. Sometimes they take it to their house and they forget it when they go on the road, and
Mhm.
then or you send them new documents and they never print them or they never put them in the binder, and then when they're stuck at the inspection they're like, well, let me call my company to send it, and then there's the violation for it, right?
Yep, I have experienced all of that. When I was managing, mine was just like 5 trucks, but I had to ask the drivers, "Hey, come get this paperwork, like or IFTA, right? All
Yeah.
insurance updated." So I understand it would have been very, easy my life to just go digital, so I don't have to, also miss the lot, right? Like anytime they come, you have to bring them to the terminal so they can get the paperwork, and you're missing lots, not only like the fuel, but just the missed opportunities that they can just make money drive instead of just, taking care of the paperwork.
Yeah, yeah. It's fuel. It's like wasting, hours of service obviously from your ELD, right? Like you're
Hmm.
gonna waste an hour for the driver to drive to the terminal to get the paperwork. Then you're wasting, right, the fuel, and then you're wasting all your time. Imagine
Hmm.
if you had to go out and meet up with 100 or 700, 800 drivers. at the
Yes.
terminal to give them the paperwork or put it in their binder because they probably won't do it. So you probably want to do that for them. Like
Yes.
it takes a lot of time.
Yes, I agree. That's amazing. I think I never seen any other technology like yours so far. So I think it is, really amazing and it is such a helpful tool to have, especially for, bigger fleets. I would say five and up. I mean, even smaller fleets, but bigger fleets that has been, it would be life changing for them.
Right, yes.
So how do you have like a discount pricing for the, bigger trucks, bigger number trucks?
Yeah, I mean our pricing, we start around at like 15 trucks, like $5 per driver per month.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, we have discounts as depending how many units, you have. As you get bigger, the price goes down, right? It
Yes,
can go down to like $2 per driver. I mean, it just depends, how many we come up with the custom price, right?
yes, yes. Do you have anyone else other than you, like customer success manager, showing demos, who is supporting the companies that signing up with digital permit book?
Yeah, so we have obviously we have developers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lead the team, so I'm always here and I do all the demos with all the customers personally. And I like to onboard and learn from all the customers what they expect. And I can directly implement any features or anything directly.
Yes,
Like if they feel like this is what we need, or we can get it done within an hour, versus like some big company that has all these teams and it doesn't have a development team on board. It would take them, you ask for a feature and it's like 3 months later, like, oh, well, it's still, waiting to be developed. We don't
yes.
do that. Like, we develop things pretty much like the same day.
Wow.
And so that's like big. So we do have somebody doing support, and then
Mm-hmm.
we do have a few developers, obviously, that develop the interface, the front end, the back end, and then the mobile apps, because
Nice.
we do have multiple mobile apps. So we have three developers there too.
Wow, nice. So you are integrated with Apple and Android?
Yeah, Apple, Android, we also deploy like custom apps for certain customers or what they call SDK. So where we customize the app and then we push it to their network, or, they use like a MDM where they manage all their mobile devices, like hundreds of them. So we would give them the custom file and they would just install it at the same time on all their devices.
Wow.
And we also run as a web app, or like Samsara, a very popular one. We run as a tile, which is already built into Samsara app. You would
Mm-hmm.
just click on a little tile, and it would just open your account
Digital.
as a
Wow.
driver. So
That's amazing. And I love the fact that, as you say, you want to like firsthand ask questions about, what your customer requiring to implement, right? What missing features, get the feedback and to make it better. That's really amazing. I love that part because I never seen a CEO doing demo for their customers. That's amazing. I love it.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to add anything else about digital permit book? If not, we're gonna go to rapid fire questions.
Mm. I mean, I think we went over everything, what the product is. I mean, if,
Mhm.
anybody's interested to learn more, obviously on our website, uh, digitalpermitbook.com, and I'll be excited to do a demo for them, right?
Yes, that would be amazing. Yes, please reach out to DJ. He is in LinkedIn, and I'm gonna tag in my post. He's already tagged in my post, but they can reach out through LinkedIn or digitalpermitbook.com, right?
Correct, yes.
Mm-hmm. So now let's go our fun part, rapid fire, fun and personal questions. So are you an early bird or night owl?
Ah, it's a hard question. Right now, I'm an early bird, right? I
Yes.
wake up around 5, and first thing I do is I go to gym, and then everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go to sleep around right now around 9 But I was both, right, for a few years when we were developing the product, and I would be up till midnight, and I would be up at 5 a.m. So
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So, coffee or energy drink?
only coffee.
Okay. Emails or phone calls?
Ah, uh, emails, I guess.
Emails? Okay. Favorite tech tool you can't live without, other than digital permit book? Of course.
Tech tool.
Yeah.
Right now, I use product called Close. It's a CRM.
CRM? Yes.
I
You
don't know.
love
I
it?
guess it's my favorite tool. It sits on my desktop, and I use it every day. So
Nice, nice. I used to use Close, but then I got into Apollo. But I'm thinking to go, implement together.
yes.
So, if you were not in logistics, what would you be doing?
Mhm. If I'm not in logistics, I'll be doing something tech. I mean,
You are a tech
that's
guy, right?
that's where I was in the beginning, as an engineer. So yeah.
Yes. What is a book or podcast that changed the game for you?
A book. Let's say a book. If I recall the names. I mean, who I watch on the podcast is Dan Martell, and his book, the one I read, and now I'm trying to think what the name of it is.
It's okay if you cannot recall it. We're gonna check later. So, how would you describe yourself in one word, your leadership style?
Oh, leadership style. I'm a very good leader.
Yes,
um,
I would say you are, servant leader, right? You
right,
love
yeah.
to
I
serve
mean,
your customers.
a friendly leader.
Friendly leader, nice. I love it. So, next one, Miami or mountains?
Miami.
Miami. Last thing you Googled. Don't lie this one.
Shoot. Probably something about the news or something like that.
Yes. So, DJ, tell us, maybe there are some people who also want to create their technology in logistics. What advice would you give someone who is trying to get into tech side of logistics?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I have a good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Find a product that's maybe that's missing or that needs to be changed. Make sure it's a small product, um, and then make sure you put all the work in it. Right? Don't make it like a side thing, something you're doing. Maybe you're gonna do it, maybe you're not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And don't try to develop a product that's so big and that covers everything because it will never work up and scale, right?
Yes. So just find one, like two problems that are, needing to be solved and just focus on that.
Yeah, yeah. I was a believer of like one solution systems, like you build one big system, and then it just doesn't make sense for a lot of people because even in like fleets, right? The bigger they are, they got different departments. So department in recruiting does not even care about the department in running loads. They
Yeah.
want to have a TMS. These guys want to have a ATS, and the
Yeah.
maintenance guys, they
Safety and
want to
compliance
do.
don't care about any of that, right? They want to have like digital permit book.
Right, yes. So build something that's different and make sure, to put in all the work.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, DJ. This was such a, informative. I have learned a few new stuff. Very, grateful. And Besties, if you have got binders in your truck still or you have ever sweated at the weight station, do yourself a favor and check out Digital Permit Book. This is a kind of tech that saves you thousands, helps your drivers breathe easier, keeps your business moving. And if you love this episode, please share, subscribe, and drop a review. And if you are ready to level up your LinkedIn brand and attract shippers, you already know where to find me. And thank you so much for listening, your bestie in freight. And we will see you in the next week. I'm gonna have another amazing guest on Thursday. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you, DJ.
All right, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.